Hello, my name is Jennifer Bondurant. What was it like when you applied to college? Were you counting on your ACT, SAT scores? Or how about your GPA? For those of us who are minorities, did you rely on affirmative action law? As an Asian American, based on my ethnicity, I can put some value into using affirmative action. So, is it fair that affirmative action can determine that as an Asian American or any other minority with a 2.0 GPA should be sought after more than a Caucasian with a 4.0? I don't think so. This law may have been good in theory, but it has become a detriment in practice, and let me tell you why. Merriam-Webster defines affirmative action as an effort to improve educational opportunities of members of minorities and women. By the words of Martin Luther King Jr., I have a dream that my 4 little children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Affirmative action has undermined this principle. Applicants are systematically categorized by the color of their skin first, then by their merit. This law promotes a reverse discrimination effect and causes underprepared students to be placed in programs they are not ready for. Affirmative action was created in 1961 under President John F. Kennedy. It ordered government employers to not discriminate against employees or applicants based on race, creed, color, or national origin. The law was originally formed to provide equality in school admissions and workplaces. Alicia Stewart, an editor of CNN.com, adds in that 5 decades later, a student in Texas spoke out about the constitutionality of race in preferences in schools. This is where schools started to implement affirmative action. With that, it helped fight against discrimination of college applicants based on their skin color. But while this law was important to break through inequality, the advancements towards equality now, we must look towards the abolishment of this act. I remember my first year at university, I took a calculus class that I was not prepared for. It was the worst feeling. Well, this is what has been happening to many students because of affirmative action. This is called the mismatch effect. In an article by Richard Sander, a UCLA law professor, and Stuart Taylor, a contributing editor for a national journal, explained that the mismatch effect happens when a school extends to its students with such a large admission preferences, such as sports or music, that the student finds themselves in classes where they have weaker academic preparation than other classmates. To no fault of their own, those students can be cheated out of an education geared towards their academic strong points. Placing underprepared students in wrong classes causes a steep decline in grades and an increase in student dropouts. Affirmative action was set into place to combat racism, but the demand for quotas enacted by this law has done the opposite of its intended use, creating a reverse racism effect. Encyclopedia Britannica gives us an overview of the Supreme Court of Bake decision, where the University of California, including the University of California versus Alan Bake. In June 1978, Alan Bake, a white male, was denied twice for the medical program at the University of California. The University of California was setting aside 16% of their admissions to minorities, and even though Bake's test scores were much higher than most, he was turned down solely based on his race. The outcome of this was Bake was ordered to be admitted into that program, and the school was no longer allowed to take race into account in administrations. There are many schools that I have an advantage over just because of my skin color. I may not be as good at math or science as a Hispanic, white, or African American sitting next to me, but I may be more considerable based on the school's quota. Ballotopia, in association with the College Board, found that in 2015, 48.3% of four-year colleges in North Carolina were participating in affirmative action and are still practicing today. Affirmative action must stop. It is undermining minorities, and majorities alike, making it harder for all applicants to get into schools based on their qualities. In the name of affirmative action, we are taking quantity of outcome over quality of outcome. Many students are put at a disadvantage by being placed into classes they may fall behind in, and many students have been turned away or accepted solely based on their skin color. I want to be considered based on my achievements and qualities I can bring to a school. I do not want to be at a college where I'm just part of a quota. Affirmative action must be abolished because it does more harm than good.